Hello everyone, Mars is transiting into Taurus on February the 22nd. He will stay there until April the 13th, 2021. During this time, he will conjunct with Rahu, forming the explosive Angarak yoke. On this video, I will explain what this means for you and indeed the world. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Let's begin. Key dates then for your diary. Feb 22nd, Mars moves into Taurus. This is not an easy move for Mars. Mars has been unrestrained and happy in his own warrior sign of Aries. Now it's like he's walking through mud. He is not happy with the restrictions, and he can cause havoc in certain Taurian areas, such as family life, home, security, farming areas, everything to do with the land, buildings. All of these factors, real estate, get disturbed when Mars goes into Taurus. In fact, financial markets are also disturbed. The one defining factor, everyone, of Mars in Taurus is a feeling of insecurity, because Mars is not as strong as Rahu, and as Rahu is already in this house, the feeling of insecurity in connection to monetary factors, home life, and relationships becomes very acute for almost everybody in this Mars transit. The reason for this is that Mars and Rahu's dispositor is Venus, Shukra, and Venus is in Aquarius, combusts the Sun as this transit begins, and indeed he will stay combust the Sun even as he moves forward into Pisces. The Sun-Venus combustion is going to have a very strong effect on the outcome of this transit. Venus represents emotions, water element, Jala, and as Venus gets close to the Sun, all the water is dried up and evaporates. Therefore, the finer feelings are being drained out of everybody. There's a harshness indeed to this Mars-Rahu transit. And at no time will this be more noticeable than when we get near to March 28th. March 28th is the exact combustion of Rahu and Mars at 20 degrees Taurus. This is quite extreme because Rahu is in control of this combustion, this Angarak yoga. He is strong in Taurus. Mars is not so strong, is losing strength. So Rahu will take the Mars energy for his own agenda. Now, let's analyze Angarak yoga. Angarak yoga is about explosive heat energy because Mars is the heat, is the fire, and Rahu is that sudden explosion. So it's like a combustion, literally. But this can have a good impact and a bad impact. It depends, in this case, how strong Rahu is for you, because Rahu is the stronger in Taurus. Rahu is controlling this Angarak yoga. So at the worst case scenario, it's a bit like a scorched earth policy where everything is being moved to make way for something new. Literally at the worst case scenario, you can see earthquakes with this configuration, volcanic eruptions and so on. But that does not happen every time Rahu-Mars conjunct. But for certain, it's like a volcano in your life because something erupts, something gives way, and you realize that things can't go back to the way they were before. To see the impact of this Rahu-Mars conjunction on your life, there are two things you need to understand. The first thing is, what is Rahu-Ketu transit doing for you up until 2022? That's important because Mars is simply kick-starting that transit right here and now at the end of March. So check the video below if you've not already seen. I have the full details for every sign for the Rahu-Ketu transit up until 2022. So whatever this area is impacting, it's going to be literally explosive for you around the end of March. But don't be fearful. It can be very positive. Yes, it actually can, because fire energy utilized correctly is extremely beneficial. When we utilize this Mars Rahu, we can take initiative in our life. We can absolutely get rid of obstacles which have held us back for so long. You see, fire can cook food. It can be creative and useful, sustaining us. And fire can actually stoke up the combustion engine, driving energy in our life, driving our life forward. Another thing to notice about this Mars-Rahu conjunction this time is that Ketu is actually being disposited by Mars. So Mars conjunct Rahu is bringing out the secrets in our life. Why? Because Ketu holds the secrets. And now that Mars has got together with Rahu, secrets, hidden factors in everybody's life are definitely coming to the fore. Another important factor is that Mercury at the moment of the combustion is actually squaring Rahu, Mars and Ketu. This is known as a T-square configuration. It looks like this. It's a very strong configuration. What it does is Mercury gets so much power towards itself that it goes a little bit over the top. This will impact aviation industry disruption, business factors, education. There's so much challenge and change going on. It goes a bit crazy in these areas, but also in the area of the media ruled by Mercury. I personally find it interesting actually because in the UK, a new media news channel, a big news channel is about to premiere sometime in March. We don't have a date, but one thing for sure, it's going to shake up the whole media industry. Some sectors of society have been trying to stop this news channel ever going on the air. It's that big, so if it does come through, because with all this Mars, Rahu, Mercury, Ketu going on, there will be another effort to stop it. But if it does come through, and there is no reason, it's not a criminal activity, it's just got a different political stance. Okay, so if it does come through, it's going to shake up the whole media industry in the UK, and that goes for anything which starts at this time. If you start anything in your life near to the end of March with this Mars Rahu configuration, and by the way, a full moon is there, even more power is there, it's going to be a maker and shaker in the world. It's going to have tremendous impact. Of course, that can be positive and negative, so it's what you make of it. In fact, that is the best way to consider this transit, everybody, because Mars-Rahu conjunction happens every 2 years. And this great store of fire and power energy, although it can indicate violence, disruption and harsh events, at the core of it, it's a way to change our lives for the better, to get rid of what is not working and to power our lives forward in a new direction. Before the individual predictions, let me just remind you that if you are running a Mahadasha of Rahu, Mars, or indeed Venus, you will definitely feel this Angarak Yoga impact in your life. How will you know what it will impact? You have to judge from the position of the Mahadasha Lord in your chart, D1. So, let's say you are in Rahu Mahadasha and you have Rahu in Scorpio in your chart. Taurus is the opposite sign to Scorpio, so you can expect relationships and business affairs to be most impacted. Let's move on now to judge from the transit position in everyone's chart, judging from the moon and Lagna both. And you can even read from D9 if you want. Let's begin. For Aries moon and Aries Lagna both, Mars, your ruler, going into the second house slows you down a little bit, and for some part you won't like this. As I say, Mars in Taurus is a bit like being in mud. So Mars is stuck now in so many financial tangles. Family affairs predominate and overwhelm you with the demands on your time. Children take a lot of your time. Education is becoming harder for you. It's hard work, more than you had bargained for. It's causing you stress because the Mars aspect on the 9th house of higher education means a lot of stress on your course. There's a lot of confusion and it needs sorting out. But most of all, it's financial. Once again, you must remember that Rahu is long-term in your second house, and this Mars energy is configurating strongly with this Rahu. The Mars-Rahu conjunction will spark an absolute financial crisis, most likely in some area of your life, because Venus, the dispositor of this, as I've shown you, is in Pisces. Your 12th house of expenses combusts the sun. So it's going out of control, and you realize that things have to change. This may be related to wills, inheritances, investments, even pensions, savings in some way for some of you. But everything has to be completely overhauled. It's a crisis. For some of you, it may involve elder siblings as well, because Rahu is your 11th house lord. And actually, don't forget, Mercury is squaring from this house, as I have shown you. So friends are not much help to you now either. They are causing you distress. Network circles are demanding so much of you. Children, as I say, and education is fraught. It's a big headache for you, Aries. This Mars Rahu, it's making you feel terribly insecure about your future. Hold on. When Mars moves on to Gemini at the middle of April, a lot of this stress will completely dissipate. Taurus Moon, Taurus Lagna. Mars has been in your 12th house for quite a while. You've been making serious plans about your future. As he goes into your first house, you will execute these plans. You will do what you've said you want to do. You're in a fighting spirit all during this period. For so many weeks, you've got so much energy at your fingertips. Use it. Do not be afraid of this. You're not an impulsive person, so Mars actually gives you that extra push, which you definitely need. You're going to be making changes in your domestic situation, either decorating, renovating, even moving home, some of you, and it's going to be good. But watch for family clashes. Maybe with your mother, certainly if you have relationship with your partner, because Mars is going to show opposition from other people. Mars is your 7th house lord. But if you work through these patiently and you are a patient person, it will be fine. But if Mars is aspecting other planets in your first house, you could be not feeling like your normal patient self during this time. This will become patently obvious to everybody as Mars and Rahu get close to their conjunction towards the end of March. This Angarak Yoga conjunction in your first house, do not be fearful of this. You see, Rahu is a good friend to you. Rahu is ruler of your 10th house with Shani, who is your Yoga Karaka. They are both powerful, good planets for you. So what's happening is that Rahu, as your 10th house lord in your first house with Mars, you are taking initiative, pushing yourself forward, particularly in career. You are getting noticed, but so are your competitors. The 7th house is people who are opposite to you, people who compete with you. Because this Mars Rahu is sparking off your 7th house, competitors are noticing you and you are getting tension from this. And your domestic sphere is being affected by these career changes, by these moves. And you know that you have to make changes desperately because it's just not working in your home life. Yes, Mars-Rahu conjunction will set off tensions in relationships, but only because of the new moves you are making in your life. And that is the biggest issue. Can you stay firm? Can you stay fixed on this? Because, as I've told you, Taurus, Rahu first house until 2022 is starting a whole new phase in your life, and you cannot be held back by the past. So watch your temper, because yes, you do have the most mighty temper, and temper tantrums are going to be sparked off, particularly near the exact conjunction. You explode beyond all explosions, really, when you are frustrated because you hold it in so long. Because Mars is your 12th house lord, you hide your frustration. You don't show it. And when it explodes, it's a mighty explosion. So try to keep calm, or your relationships are going to be seriously disrupted, particularly with spouse. But again, because Mars is your 12th house lord, things are going to come out into the open with this Angarak yoga in your relationships, and they need to be sorted. They need to be discussed. Gemini moon, Gemini Lagna. Mars is a tricky planet for you. He rules your 11th and your 6th house. He brings conflict into your life. But now he's going into your 12th house for a while. The conflict goes underground, as it were. You become, very strangely, secretive. You're not a secretive person normally, but you'll be keeping many of your plans under wraps at this time. But other people get a notion of this, and it creates some conflict in your life. Where this conflict will be most noticeable for you, Gemini, will be with your siblings and your cousins and near family. There's some real conflict of interest, and you're not being really open for your own purposes here, and it's causing some distress to you. Don't forget, Mars is in the house of foreign travel, so foreign travel and local travel can also become disturbed by this aspect. But Mars aspect onto your 6th house shows hidden health problems also coming to the fore now. Take care of them immediately and they will be fine. You are putting a lot of worry and stress into your own mind unnecessarily, and this is actually causing you health problems most likely. But the most important conflict is with spouse, business partners, and even close friends. There is a need for openness, honesty, conversation, but you're just not in the mood for that, and this is what is actually causing some conflict. The Mars Rahu Angarak yoga happening in your 12th house is actually quite interesting, because at the most powerful of all, because Rahu is your 9th house lord, you get inspiration in this period. You need some time alone. You need to escape a little bit from the hustle bustle of life, but it's not going to be easy, as I say, because of these confronting aspects with siblings, partners, and even work colleagues, by the way. But nonetheless, if you can find time alone, you will get absolute inspiration. You are planning. This is a planning period. Mars Rahu 12th house, planning your future moves, and you will get inspiration from the most unexpected quarters, even in your dreams. You see, Mars Rahu in the house of subconscious mind. Take a dream diary, note all of your dreams in this period. They will give you great clues to your future and inspiration, I promise you. For some of you, foreign travel becomes an absolute necessity at this time, even if you don't want to travel, but it can be helpful to you. You see, the 12th house means that you need time alone. You need to get away, as I've said, from the hustle bustle of life. And Mars Rahu may give you that opportunity, because Rahu is your 9th house lord. So spiritual factors, philosophical systems are helpful to you. You need to take advice, but you need to take it slowly before you make a decision. 12th house Mars Rahu will actually be helpful for you if you are a creative person, if you are a communicator, writer, work in media. This is absolutely inspiring for you, because you get inspired from your subconscious mind at this time. On the negative side though, Mars Rahu can give overindulgence in Taurus, and in the 12th house you can have too much food, too much drink, escapism into all sorts of addictions at the worst case scenario. So even on a very light note, like escaping into compulsive movies and watching box sets and so on, you're doing everything to blank out your mind because of the high level of stress. Try to make it positive, meditation, contemplation, etc. Although it won't be easy to find time alone, it's such a stressful, busy time, nonetheless, that is what you need, because as Mars moves forward, you move forward with your agenda from the middle of April. Do not fear. For Cancer Moon and Cancer Lagna, Mars as your Yoga Karika transiting 11th house is extremely favorable for you. You're pushing down barriers now. You're feeling more confident, more outward looking, and people are noticing. You can get new job opportunities, sort out financial matters with Mars's 4th aspect on your 2nd house. You're even sorting out family affairs that you've left hanging, if you like, for some time. You are really getting noticed now, and it's going to give you a great opportunity in many areas of your life. In education, you are pushing ahead strongly with Mars's opposition aspect here. Where you'd been stalemated in your education, you get great progress. The only problem is all of this energy, all of this motivation is impacting health. What you're eating, are you eating right food? Probably not. You are so rushed and forward looking that you're even not eating properly now. Mars's 8th aspect might impact health, so be careful. De-stress yourself if you can. Conflicts will be there because Mars having an 8th aspect on this 6th house shows that competitors are noticing you because of this forward motion in your life. Watch, because Mars makes you impatient, tripping over yourself to take up opportunities. But I wouldn't worry too much. Mars is a favorable planet for you. I would take use of this energy to walk through the doors that are opening to you. The Mars-Rahu conjunction is not going to faze you too much either. Yes, because Rahu is your 8th house lord, unexpected factors come to the fore. They can be from many quarters. Most importantly, though, they may be financial. So there may be sudden issues with your savings, investments, 8th house factors, wills, legacies at one extreme, and finances with your spouse are becoming a little bit fraught, but new opportunities are continually opening up to you. If you look, doors will open to you, no matter how difficult finances become, how unstable they become income-wise. You will find new source of income, definitely. If you are in education, you're doing well, but suddenly a curveball comes because Rahu is your 8th house lord. So unexpected happenings in your educational course occur, but still you can make this work for you. Do not fear. So Mars Rahu for you is a powerhouse of energy. Make the most of it. Leo Moon, Leo Lagna. Mars is favorable for you. He is a Yoga Karika planet, ruler of your 4th house and your 9th house. He brings you to greatness by his transit and in Mahadasha. Going into your 10th house, he's going to push you forward into the limelight now. Nothing is stopping you in your career. But my goodness, it's going to cause a few earthquakes on the way for you because you're moving and shaking things with no holes barred now. You are going to make the changes you've wanted to make in your career for some time, and you will have great energy and determination to make them in this time period. Mars's aspects are very invigorating. The 4th aspect onto your 1st house gives you strength and good health. You should overcome recent health problems. You are feeling invigorated and strong at this time and extremely determined, as I say. Mars aspect on your 4th house shows changes in your domestic environment, some of which you will not probably like, and clashes with your family may occur. Clashes with children will also perhaps occur at this time. And if you are in education, clashes in educational courses where you are not satisfied. You are not prepared to do anything now which is not furthering your career. So changes in education for some of you may occur. The Angarak Yoga conjunction Mars-Rahu in your 10th house is the most powerful in the zodiac. This is really moving and shaking, as I say. The foundation of your life is changing. Everything is changing. Your domestic situation, your family life is changing. Your career is changing. Rahu is your 7th lord, though. Conflicts are going to abound in some way because you will not turn back to the past. You are moving forward. You are extremely forward looking at this moment. So Rahu may give serious clashes with your partner at this time, but only because you will not change your view. So if you can be a little bit more flexible, relationships can be much more easier for you at this time. But you've got your sights on the future now. And if you are in any business situation, wow, Mars Rahu conjunction could start up a whole new business venture now that will be ultimately very successful, though a shaky start will be there definitely. If you are employed, expect major clashes with your boss and superiors under this Mars Rahu conjunction. Watch your temper. You may say things you seriously regret at this time. So you have a mighty temper, Leo. Watch it at this time. Don't forget, Mercury is in Aquarius in your 7th house. So there can be serious arguments with your colleagues, with your partner, with your superiors. But really, you will just take this in your stride because nothing upsets you. Mars Rahu is a powerhouse of energy to move your life forward. Just make sure that you don't leave too many, how can we say, upset people behind you as you powerfully move forward with your life. If you can be a bit more conciliatory, it will definitely help in this powerful period. For Virgo Moon and Virgo Lagna, it's a time for extreme caution in your life because Mars going into your 9th house might seem this is a favorable factor, but you see, for you, Mars is your 3rd house lord, which is a tricky situation, and also your 8th house lord. So Mars in this 9th house can give you confrontation with people from afar, foreign lands, in higher education, with your father, with your father's family, and with your siblings. You're not easily able to put your own ideas into play until Mars goes into your 10th house at the end of April. You're definitely going to have conflicts in your home life, in your domestic situation. Things are not going smooth there at all, and there can be big ego clashes going on, even with your siblings' 3rd house aspect. Most of all, you're in the mood to escape, Virgo. You've got itchy feet major in this period, and you want to go abroad because Mars is in the house of foreign lands and aspecting the house of escapism and foreign lands again. You want to escape, but I'm not so sure it's going to go smoothly for you. You have to take great care with travel at this time. Finally, Mars Rahu will also impact relationship with your father and his family. There could be quarrels, there could be discord, but there could also be interesting information coming from him that is helpful to you. Because as I say, Mars Rahu at this time is bringing out secret and helpful information. So it's a bit of a stalled period for you until Mars moves powerfully into your 10th house in the middle of April. But make the most of this time for education, philosophical pursuits, and deep learning. They are most definitely favored. Libra Moon and Libra Lagna. Mars is a tricky planet for you. He rules your 7th and 2nd house. He brings events that are always outside of your control somehow. So once again, in the 8th house, it's going to amplify this factor. Mars here is going to bring you some curveballs in this period. Definitely, probably, if you are married, coming from your spouse. There's a difficult joint financial situation going on, or your in-laws are having some difficulty. And it's going to be a bit touch and go. But the good news is Mars is aspecting strongly the 11th house. Network circles, friends, see you through all of this difficulty. The most difficult factor of this Mars transit, though, is the 8th aspect on the 3rd house of your chart. So there's going to be sudden events in your siblings' life which cause you some distress, and you're going to have to be on call to help them. There can be difficulties, confrontations with your neighbors, people who live close to you also. Once again, these are all events that are completely out of your control and take you a little bit by surprise in this period. The Mars-Rahu conjunction in your 8th house, you could expect sudden events connected to your children as well to come up, needing immediate attention. But don't be afraid of this. Family are behind you. Friends are supporting you. You are going to deal with all comers in this month. Your resourcefulness, Libra, comes to the fore. And the most important factor of this Mars-Rahu conjunction is sorting out your finances. You may have to completely change savings, investments, pensions, completely revolutionize family finance. But this is the time to sort it, and it's going to be favorable, most definitely. For Scorpio moon and Scorpio Lagna, Mars is your ruler, but in the 7th house, he's in a bit of a difficult position. First of all, you're massively determined to push ahead with your agendas in life, but you're going to come up against quite a lot of conflict at this time. The reason you're getting stuck, Scorpio, is that Mars is in a bad position, 7th house, in terms of his strength. He's actually Mahadasha. He's not able to give his highest potential to you. So partners have the last say, and it's frustrating you. You can't find compromise. It's a very difficult period for relationships. Try to tone down your ego demands and things will be fine. But in your workplace, it's becoming difficult because you are having major ego confrontations there. You know you have to make changes, but you just can't find opening. And yes, it's stressing health and stressing family relationships also. There are some battles, Scorpio, that you just have to say, I can't win this one. And if you could take that conciliatory attitude for the moment, it would really help you greatly. This will, however, be a stressful month or so for your financial situation. Mars in this difficult position for you has an 8th aspect on the house of finance. So your financial situation is becoming really precarious. Patience and calm is the best way for you to sort this. Do not make sudden actions. Do not take sudden financial risks at this time is the definite best advice. Particularly if you are in any business situation, it's really best not to push out the boat at this time. That's because Mars-Rahu, as they get closer to the conjunction at the end of March, inclines you to risky behavior, particularly because Mars has aspect on your 2nd house of finance. Financial risk should be avoided at this time. If you are in business, once again, you are inclined to take risky jumps, if you like, into the unknown because Rahu gives you this energy. Now, I'm not saying that new business venture would be absolutely failing at this time. If you are in partnership and if you are taking advice, it could work out well. But you should definitely suss out all the small print in anything that you sign during this period. The Mars-Rahu conjunction will definitely impact relationships greatly, partner relationships, even close friends. Something unexpected comes to your notice around the end of March, and it may affect your whole domestic situation because Rahu is your 4th house lord. Unexpected changes have to be made in your domestic situation, and it's all to do with really what your partner wants rather than what you want. As I say, your Lord is not strong. Partner is much stronger now. The best way forward is to listen to what partners, colleagues, work colleagues, friends have to say to you. They have good suggestions. They know the way forward. And if you follow their lead, even though you are not inclined to do so, stress levels will go down and your life will be much easier during this period. Sagittarius moon and Lagna. Mars moving from your 5th house into your 6th house makes your life extremely busy in this period. I mean, it's non-stop go for you. Mars is your 5th lord. He brings good karmas to you, gives you energy to be creative in your life. But he is your 12th house lord of occult knowledge and secret affairs, but also loss. So expenses will definitely mount up at this time and cause you a little bit of distress. But most of all, you need to pay attention to your health. Mars in this house inclines you to risky behavior about your health. in this month. Be careful about that. Mars has an 8th aspect on your 1st house of health. You can put yourself under stress and actually take unnecessary risks. Be cautious. Mars having 4th aspect on your 9th house shows travel in this time will be fraught and difficult situations to do with father. Contact with your father will be stressful for you also. 9th house, of course, also is about higher education, and if you are in education, it's getting extremely stressful for you. But don't give up. Mars gives you the energy to be successful with extra application at this time. Towards the end of March, the Mars-Rahu conjunction becomes very strong in your chart. Now, this is when there are going to be health concerns that are definitely going to come up. But Rahu is useful to you in this 6th house. You can find help that you need to get rid of health concerns almost immediately. So don't put off any health concerns that come up this month. Sort them as soon as you can, and they will be fine. Communication with your siblings can become quite fraught because Rahu is co-lord of your 3rd house, particularly maybe younger siblings. There can be legalities, confrontations, conflict, ego conflicts with your siblings at this time. Take great care. And again, if you are inclined to escapism, travel, it's going to be fraught with some difficulty for you when Mars is so close to Rahu. But the positive news about Mars Rahu for you, Sagittarius, is that Rahu is so strong in this 6th house. He can get you out of any fix at all. So no matter what difficulties you are confronting in this challenging period, you will actually come out on top of them, and you will actually win through great challenges with success. So do not give up efforts. It's actually a successful period for you, if a quite stressful one. For Capricorn, Moon and Lagna, Mars is a very special planet for you. Exalted in your sign, he is no friend to Shani, your lord, but he rules your 4th house. So he gives you the basis of your life. Whenever you move forward under Mars, you move from your heart. What your heart wants, Mars fulfills for you. This can be seen. Now Mars is in the 5th house of your chart. This can have a few meanings. First of all, in this time, if you are in education, there's going to be major changes. I mean dramatic changes which you have to go along with. And take advice, because you are more or less following the crowd. Mars aspecting the 11th house means that you are very influenced by your network circles, by your friendship circles at this time. If you have children also, they are in a bit of difficulty now and causing you some distress. But the number one factor is that your financial situation has gone a little bit out of control now. Mars having an aspect onto your 8th house shows that you are able to, if you are willing to, take control of this and change everything to do with savings, investments, pensions, etc., and take dramatic action at this time. But Mars having an 8th aspect on the 12th house shows that loss is definitely going to be there. Your financial situation is taking a bit of a downturn at this time, and you simply have to go with that, because Mars aspecting 11th house, despite this drain of your resources, will, if you really search it out, show you extra sources of income, and help is definitely there for you if you seek it. Another aspect to Mars in the 5th house is that it puts you in quite a passionate mood. This is a house of romance, love affairs. Some of you may be meeting someone as a potential partner at this time, and you could even have quite serious infatuation, some of you. Why am I talking about infatuation? Because Rahu is here. Rahu can cloud your mind and make you really obsessive about romantic interests at this time. Mars-Rahu conjunction in your 5th house will also tempt you to speculation, because you're feeling in such a financial fix. Be careful about stocks and shares, financial investments. Things that look too good to be true probably are too good to be true at this period. be cautious in financial speculation. And in education, once again, you can do very well in this period if you take a new view of things, because Rahu inclines you to see the new always. So education will either go terribly wrong now because of this Mars Rahu, where you simply up and leave the course, bye bye, it's finished, or you take a really intense new look and study hard and get success. This is all because Rahu Mars gives you this obsessional attitude towards everything at this time. Finally, if you have children, Rahu Mars conjunction at the end of March will definitely bring unexpected factors to bear with them. Take caution and take advice. Mars Rahu aspecting 11th house shows lots of people there to help you, advise you, and see you through any difficult situation at this time. Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Lagna. Mars is a tricky planet for you, but he can do good for you. He is not in harmony with your Lord Shani, but he pushes you to career success. But he gives conflict every time you make career changes. You see, Mars is now in the 4th house of your chart, bringing all of these factors to the fore in your life. Mars in Taurus in these months is going to lead to domestic situations which are going to shift in a mega way. Mars will push them forward, things that you've been avoiding, particularly in relation to your partner. Because of Mars' 4th aspect on the 7th house, business situations, business partnerships and spousal partnerships are under some stress now. Difficult communications have to happen and they will not be easy. Expect a lot of domestic stress where it feels like rather than being no place like home, sometimes you just want to get away from it. And you see, your energy now is on your career, on your public life. You are putting so much emphasis on this. Mars is your 10th house lord, but you may be working from home. Many people are, and it's causing stress with your spouse. And in your domestic circle, it's just not working. It's extra stressful for you also because Mars has an 8th aspect on your 11th house of income. Some of you may have a new job starting at this time, be changing career in some way, and actually it's going to work out long term superbly good, but there is some insecurity about income which is also concerning you. All of these factors I've just discussed get completely fired up in a mega way when Mars gets close to Rahu, because Rahu is your Lord, Aquarius. He actually fires you forward in your life. That's why you are so innovative and cutting edge in so many areas. So when Mars gets close to Rahu, it's domestic fireball, basically, is the only way to put it. It's all going to come out. Conversations with partner, conversations even with siblings who maybe get involved as well, because Mars is your 3rd house lord. So really expect to have an explosive domestic situation around the end of March, but probably because Rahu is your lord, it's going to be good. It's going to clear the air and find new solutions to old problems. Many of you, of course, will be simply upping and moving. New home, new situation, a brand new start happens domestically for many of you with this Mars-Rahu conjunction. For Pisces Moon and Pisces Lagna, Mars coming into your 3rd house is actually beneficial to you. You see, Mars is your 9th house lord, so in many ways he's a fortunate planet for you in that he gives you a higher purpose in life. Coming into your 3rd house, he's going to fire you up with courage to meet situations in your life you haven't been able to stand up to recently. So you'll be pushing out the boat. You'll be going places you've wanted to go for some time. You will be traveling a lot. You'll be on the move a lot. You'll be talking to so many people from foreign land maybe that you haven't spoken to for some time. You're definitely on the move at this time, mentally and physically. If you are in any skill-based training, it's going to go superbly well for you. So this Mars transit, 3rd house, gives you courage, motivation, and is actually quite favorable for you. Talking to your siblings, though, might become a little bit confrontational, and information about father might become difficult also. Conversations with your father can be a little bit fraught. But Mars having fourth aspect on your sixth house helps you to sort out things that you've not been sorting, including your health. You are making progress now. You could even become a little bit of a fitness fanatic during this time, because Mars gives you energy to increase health factors in your life. Watch out for Mars's 10th aspect. Mars's 8th aspect on your 10th house, though. If you are employed, expect conflicts with your boss, superiors, even co-workers, because you're feeling quite feisty now. You're really not prepared to put up with difficult situations in your workplace that you put up with for some time. But it's still favorable. If you are seeking a job, again, opportunities are coming to you, opening to you. So it's actually a very innovative time for you to have Mars third house. If you are in media industry, working in communication in any field, or studying, this is also extremely successful for you. You do very good work in this period and actually get yourself noticed. The only problem for you, Pisces, is the Mars-Rahu conjunction. So as this gets closer towards the end of March, as I say, Mars-Rahu is going to cause some confrontation, because Rahu is your 12th lord. So some unexpected expenses come to the fore around end of March and cause you some concern. Some unexpected communications, perhaps with siblings, are also going to be of concern. And this is the time to watch for travel. You get very itchy feet at this time. You even want to go abroad. You're dying to step out into new places. You really want to get away, to escape. But be careful, because at the end of March, travel, foreign lands, foreign vistas can become difficult and unexpected factors can happen. So you have to be careful. Watch your driving, watch impulsive moves and so on. Mars Rahu makes you impulsive. So all of these things need to be just taken a little bit extra care with, and everything will be fine. And actually, the good news is that Mars Rahu gives you good ideas now, inspires your imagination, so that creative solutions to many problems in your life are coming to you at this time. On your screen right now, Rahu transit until 2022. Check out that video to get more information of Rahu's agenda in your life. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.